And we this was actually, you're going to probably hear a lot of pages flipping in the background here this morning. This was actually a presentation I had the opportunity to give out in Los Angeles. Remember about a month ago?
Yeah, you weren't here.
Yeah, that's right.
I remember.
You'll remember that part. And it was a PowerPoint presentation, and it was meant to stimulate people's thinking toward understanding what their heritage in these United States of America is, and that heritage is of a trust in God. So the next slide, if you will, was a picture of something that everybody in America is familiar with, and it's the Declaration of Independence. Again, in Congress, July 4th, 1776. And why don't you read just in that box there, and we'll start with that.
The unanimous declaration of the 13th United States of America, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
And Jonathan, those last couple of lines you read are probably the most famous lines of all from the Declaration of Independence. And the interesting thing is that it talks about the fact in that first paragraph before those very, very famous lines that when you have a reference to the laws of nature and of nature's God.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a godly reference, and you can say, well, that's the God of nature, and you can start to debate that. Okay, we'll leave it there. That's fine. That's okay. We'll leave that for now. We're going to come back to that later. And then in these very, very famous lines in this Declaration of Independence, it talks about all men created equal,
mm-hmm.
being endowed by their
Creator
with certain unalienable rights. And these words ring so true to each American as we look at this and we look back at our history. And hopefully when you look back at our history and you read these words, you have a sense of awe for the wonderful observation that these individuals not only made but stood for and died for. This idea that all men are created equal. What a great feeling you should get when you look at that. And on this July 4th weekend, we want to look back at that and say they were really on to something. Well, let's read now the last paragraph of the Declaration of Independence, because again, it brings God into the picture from another perspective.
We therefore, the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress, assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do in the name and by authority of the good people of these colonies solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
And Jonathan, again, there's some wonderful lines in here talking about appealing to the supreme judge of the world. That's God.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the very end, for this support of this declaration, with firm reliance on the protection of divine providence. That's God.
That is.
So in this declaration, folks, what you have is God described four different ways. He's described as the God of nature. He's described as the creator. He's described as the judge of the world. And he's described as the God of providence and protection. So that gives us a real sense of what happened at the very, very beginning. So herein lies the basis of the founding of the United States of America. There are many aspects to this founding. We're not going to be able to cover them all today. What we do want to focus on is the deep and abiding trust in God that the founders had. We want to examine that trust in the light of today and see where we are in relation to such a trust. Should we trust in God? Well, obviously, if you've ever listened to this program, we believe we should. We believe that the God of heaven is more than worthy of our trust, that he's revealed a comprehensive plan for the race of humankind in the Bible, and that this Bible does contain the mind of God because it verifies science, it supports reason, and puts the history of the human race into a logical sequence with a just, wise, and loving end. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. First, we need to define what trust is, and Fred, perhaps we should go into the well, you know what? Let's do the definition quick here, Jonathan, because this is easy. What does it mean to trust? Look it up in the dictionary, and this is what you find.
Assured reliance on the character, ability, strength, or truth of someone or something. And the other is one in which confidence is placed.
Okay, and trust as a verb is to place confidence in, to be confident. So it's assured reliance on the character, ability, and strength of truth or of someone. That's what trust is. And the question we have here is, do we have that assured reliance on the character of God?
This is Jonathan and Rick with Christian Questions on News Talk 104.7 WXLM. Grab your Bibles, don't go away, we'll be right back.